everyone, today book I read the Dragonflies, a ghost named Wanda. Looks fun, didn't it? Let's read it. Chapter 1. When the first spooky thing happened, I didn't even realize it was spooky. I don't know why, because I happen to like spooky things, unless they really scary or mean, in which case maybe not so much. Oh, I better tell you who I am. My name is Jack. I'm 10 years old, and I guess I've always been sort of interested in weird stuff. Stuff like werewolves and vampires and zombies and house where you go into the bathroom and turn on the faucet and comes blood. Stuff like that. To be honest about it, I'd never seen any of the things I just mentioned. But then, I only 10 years old. And anyway, to get back to my story, one night a few months ago, I woke up suddenly. All the doors is closed in our apartment kept on opening and closing. The door to dad's room, my bedroom door, my bathroom door, the door to my closet. Just opening and closed by themselves. I figured, hey, no big deal. It's the wind or something. So I went back to sleep. If I had known what it really was, I probably wouldn't have been so cautious. When I woke up this next morning, the first thing I noticed was how messy my room was. Now, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. My room is always pretty messy, but this morning it was a lot messier than usual. The pants I had taken off the night before and I thrown on the floor were now hanging from the roller of the window shade. The shoes I had tossed in the corner were in my what's mess basket. My t-shirt was hanging from the light on the ceiling. My underpants were on my teddy bear head. I was pretty sure I hadn't done any of these things, and I couldn't imagine who had. I cleaned up the stuff as fast as I could. It wasn't so much because I liked my room clean. I just didn't want my dad to come in and say, "What's wrong with this picture?" My dad is great, and I love him a whole lot, but he's kind of a neatness freak. And I really can't stand when he comes into my room and says, "What's wrong with this picture?" As soon as I clean up my room, I went to brush my teeth, and that's where I noticed some more goofy stuff. Somebody had rubbed the salt all over my bathroom mirror and put saran wrap under the toilet seat. Had some kids sneaking to play pranks on me, or was something weird going on here? "Jack, you up?" my dad called from the hallway. "Yeah, Dad," I called back. He stuck his head in my bedroom door. "Uh-oh," he said. I went back into my room, and my mouth dropped again. My room was a mess again. Plus, all the extraction cord was tied into both, and the flame photo of my grandma Lee had a moustache and beard round on it. This was no kid fling flanks. Something weird was going on. "What's wrong in your picture?" said my dad. I could tell Dad was really upset by the mess. My mom and my dad split up a few years ago. Now I spend part of the time with him and part of the time with my mom. Dad's place was always been neater than Mom's, up till now, that is. "Dad," I said, "I just this minute clean my room, okay?" Just before going into the bathroom to brush my teeth, I swear. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think we've been haunted or something. "Jack, I don't mind if you sometimes get careless and leave your room messy," said my dad. But I really wish you wouldn't fib about it. I'm not fibbing, I said. I really did clean up my room just a few minutes ago. I did not leave it there like this. The look on my dad's face told me he still wasn't buying it. But at the previous moment, the TV that sat on top of my bookcase flew gently into the air. Then it flew slowly and faintly across the room and landed on my dresser. My dad watched it go. His eye was very wide, so were mine. You know, Jack, said my dad after a long time. I think I believe you after all. Chapter 2. Dad and I ran out of my room and escaped into the kitchen. We blocked the door with a splatter. And then we turned around. Yikes! It was even worse in here. The table was already set for breakfast. The only thing was, it was set upside down. The cupboard was open and empty, or the dish was piled up into a very tall stack, which was swaying uneasily back and forth. There was no longer any doubt about it. We have to progress. I read books about this stuff, and I know. But in case you don't, a progress is like a ghost that like to cause trouble. They usually appear in homes and families that have at least one kid, and they trash the place. I looked at my dad, see how he was taking all of this. What do you think of our staying in Wanda in tonight? Asked my dad. Oh, I don't want to spend the night in some strange motel room, I said. Flapjacks began cooking on the stove. They flipped themselves up into the air. Then they turned over and landed back into the pan. The very tall stack of dishes tilted in one direction, then it in the other. Then it caused a blast with a very purpose with a very loud crash. Pieces of smashed disc flew in all directions. The red flyer doors sprang open, and all the fluid inside spilled out of the floor. On the other hand, I sneezed at, I hear that the Ramanda inns can be really nice. Chapter 3. In school, it was hard for me to my work, and the hardest high school for boys in the New York City. There is a lot of work. I kept thinking about God. Who even knew what was going on now in my dad's apartment? I was thinking so hard about God that I must have totally turned out what we were doing in class. At one point, my English teacher, Mr. Hoffman, asked me something. I looked up, started. So, Jack, said Mr. Hoffman. So, Jack, said Mr. Hoffman, what's your opinion? My opinion? I said. I cleared my throat and tried to loosen up my tie. Yes? Well, I said, stealing for time. You know, sir, there are so many ways to look at that question. I wouldn't want to form an opinion too quickly. Jack, he said, in my opinion, that you have not been listening in your discussion. Oh no, I guess I haven't, sir, I said. I'm really sorry, but I have a lot on my mind today. Well, thank you for being so honest, he said. What on your mind today that's more important than schoolwork? Police asked. Some of the guys started laughing. Poltergeists? Yes, sir, I said. Do you happen to know anything about them? Well, said Miss Hoffen, I know the word means a noisy spirit in German, but what made you think about poltergeist? Well, I said, I know this may sound hard to believe, but some invisible force is working my dad's apartment, and I through it might be a key ghost, poltergeist. The kids in class was laughing so hard they almost fell out of their chairs. "Oh, right, Jack," said some, and "Yes, sure, Jack. Anyone who believes in ghosts," said a kid named Bartlemy Frismer. "It's a superstitious barback." There was more laughter. "Shut up, Bellum," I said. Bellum after a sweet lad and only take baths on weekend. He kept his bubble gum behind his ear. He bragged that his gym clothes hadn't been washed since the third grade. He kind of school legend. "All right, boys, that's enough," said Mr. Hoffman. "You probably believe in the tooth fairy too," said Billy Medfield. "Shut up, Bellum," I said. "I sure wish I could have you of something cooler today," says "Shut up," but I couldn't. "Why don't you make me shut up, Barfbag?" said Bellum. "Jack, Bellum!" shouted Mr. Hoffman. "I do not order fighting. One more word out of you, either of you, and you are both staying after school." Both Bellum and I got very quiet. "That's better," said Mr. Hoffman. "You know, Arthur, I don't believe in the supernatural." There was a great many people who do. "And they are not all superstitious parts back either, Ballon. What I suggest, Jack, is that you go to the library and go to a little research." That was a Mr. Hoffman's solution to every problem. Going to the library, come to think of it through, it was not a bad idea. Chapter 4. After school, I went straight to the public library and looked up ghosts and forgets in the environment. Look at this. What this is? Ghost and poltergeist. Poltergeist in the encyclopedia. It said some interesting stuff, but it didn't tell how to get rid of them. So I went to ask the librarian for help. The librarian, Mr. Bandam, has a thick mustache and very strong arms. That is because he liked to work out a lot with weights. He big, tall guy, but he really knows his reference book. "Excuse me, sir," I said. Where exactly would I find stuff about getting rid of ghosts?" Mr. Bandam frowned at me. I hope he didn't think I was putting him on. He didn't seem like the kind of guy who liked being put on. "You're serious?" he asked. "I couldn't be more serious, sir," I said. "We have ghosts, and the way some people have cockroaches. "Then what have you want in banishing Ritter?" he said. "Banishing Ritter are the large mortals in the spirit world. You find them under black magic over there under the stairway." I thanked the librarian and went to look under the stairway for looks for black magic. In case you don't know, playing bunnies out of top hat is called white magic. Putting cards on paper or fooling around with evil spirit in called black magic. I read all about Portuguese in one book on magic, black magic. I finally found a vanishing ritual. You were supposed to light 7 black candles and say this 7 times. Oh, evil spirit, oh, great and terrible demons that dwellest in face, live this in dark, stinking place. Hear me now. I cast you out. I command you to depart. I order that you leave this place. All spirit who commence in darkness, O demon of the full of night, whose nose turns backward, whose face turns upside down, whose clothes turns inside out so take his underwear does show you love yourself. Oh, this is Lord spell. And be gone from this place immediately. It sounds to me like this evil spirit or that guys from Assisi in England or something. And maybe that was the only language they understand. I didn't think you need to talk American that goes like that. Okay, on the other hand, maybe the spirit that was trashing my dad's apartment was an old dad guy from instant England. In that case, it would understand us. I took my book to the checkout desk. I was in line behind a kid who also had a lot of books on ghost and evil spirit. The kid was sweating like crazy. Balloon, I said. What are you doing with those books? You said anyone who believes in ghosts in a superstition bar bag. Okay, kid. Where is going to be okay? Okay, sorry. Balaam eyes spoke out when he saw it was me. He was so loud in the face. He drew him my pop with a pain. I don't believe in the stuff. He stammered. She sure didn't sound too convincing. Then why are you checking out book on ghosts? If I tell you, do you promise to keep it a secret? Maybe. Here's the thing, Warren said, looking around nervously and slowly spoke to a whisper. Something weird is going on in my apartment too. You mean invisible force have been trashing your place? I asked a mage. No, worse than that, Jack. He said much worse. Invisible force have been straightening up. They doesn't sound so bad to me, I said, remembering what was going on in that apartment. You don't understand, he said. Things in my room are being invisibly recast, not the way I want them, but the way something else wants them. I get out of my bed, it makes himself. The sheet and blankets tuck themselves so tight you could bounce a quarter of them. Quarter of them. Sometimes that happens while I'm still in bed. Jack, do you think we got a poltergeist? If you do, I said, taking my book and heading toward the door. It even weirder than the one we got. Hey Jack, he said, can't you hear me? I talk with you later, I said. I left balloon on the step of the library. It was a vanishing little work for me. Maybe I should balloon how to do. Not that he's my favorite person, as I said before, but I did sort of feel sorry for him having to live with the Natas. I mean, I stopped off the party store on the corner. I bought 7 black candles. Then I headed over to my dad's apartment to do the Spanish ritual. I wasn't all that hot to talk to that guy, except the April ones, but I felt it was our only hope. Chapter 5. When I returned home with my book on black magic and my 7 black candles, my dad was freaking out. At first I thought he was mad at me for being late, but then I thought that wasn't it at all. Things in the apartment had gotten a lot worse. Not only was the place completely trashy, but there was clear gooey stuff all over everything. It looked like a combination of maple syrup and rubber cement. What is this stuff? My dad croaked. He was so upset he could barely speak. I just read about this at the library. I said that is what they are calling stop. Look at me. This is very hard word, so that's okay. You can't read it. Look at this. Okay, you don't see it, so I get the close-up. Ectoplasm. They call ectoplasm. It's something that appears when there are spirits around. I felt the holy birth for my dad, and what had happened to his nice apartment. His eye got kind of glassy. He looked like a guy in a war movie. Shock. Wobbly on his legs. I knew I had to take a large charge. I showed him the book on the black magic, and I showed him we were going to be banishing Richard. He nodded, staring straight ahead. Then we lit the 7 black candles, and I began to read aloud in a voice I hope sounded more confident than I felt. Oh, evil spirit, oh great and terrible demon that... Okay. Oh, evil spirit, oh great and terrible demon that dwelleth in foolish deadliness in dark stinking place, hear me now. I went on and on, but nothing happened, nothing. So I stopped reading, slammed down the book. Then looked slammed down the book, and look at that. I'm sorry, I said. This isn't working. That's when we hear the loud noise. The big bag of peanut M&Ms that was on a sharp just kind of explode. All the M&Ms flew upward. They hit the ceiling and stuck there. The way they stuck spared the message. It said, okay, here I am, what now? Oh my gosh, I said softly. Oh my gosh, said my dad. I couldn't believe it. It made a contact with an actual evil spirit, with the actual spirit of that person. If you want to know the truth, I got very scared. So I felt a terrible chill, like I had just opened the freezer to get some frozen yogurt and all of the coldness just spread on top of me. The skin on my head and on the back and neck began to tingle. What do we do? I whispered. I don't know, said my dad. His voice was still kind of shaky, but he looking less scared. Why don't you ask something? He said. Oh, spirit who dwells in this place, I said in a low, rebel tone. Are you the same spirit who has trashed our apartment? There was soft, growling sound that emanated of the ceiling range. Then, sharp into the new pattern, it said, a really dumb question. I can't believe it, I whispered to my dad. We actually have a conversation with the dead guy. Not only with that guy, said my dad, with that guy who can't spell. At least that was sounding like his old self again. Oh, spirit, I said. What did you do those things to us? There was more soft scratching sound above our head, and then a new arrangement of M&Ms. Frankie and Border saw it run. But you're ruining all our furniture and dish and stuff, I said. If you keep this up, you have nothing left. Talk with my job. It's your job? I said. What's your job? More soft scratching sound. To be Miss Bus, Miss Chip, Miss Gus. Oh, the heck we didn't two masses the last thing. The evil spirit was about the worst speller I have ever met. A library dad. Dad, I don't know what else to ask it, I whispered. We should find out whom you're taking to, said my dad. Oh, spirit, what are they named? I asked. Did that name those two enters? There was another quick adjournment of element. Wanda. Wanda? I repeated. But Wanda is the woman name. So what? You're a woman? I said. So what? Some about how many 100 years old are the mouse? I asked. About 8. You are 800 years old? I replied. No, just 8, silly 8.5 going on 9. 8.5? I said. That it's a kid. A kid that's been trashing our apartment. Well, I guess that makes sense. That said my dad. It makes about as much sense as taking to that people who speak through peanut M&M and who can't spell. If that, I said, why aren't you in having or some place like that? Okay, hello, bye bye, next time.